Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 1 year anniversary show of the Elite City podcast. We did it, Rick. 1 year.
1 year. There you go.
Awesome.
Yeah, I didn't think we would last, but here we are.
Here we are. That's true. I was also skeptical at the beginning.
But no, it's been fun. It's been fun.
It's been really fun. And with 1 year, we have some shout outs. We'd like to shout out everybody who has liked, subscribed, listened, anything. We've become friends with a few of you now, and we interact with you online. It's just been super fun. So thank you. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, rate, pass it along, do whatever you got to do. That really
write it on a piece of paper, like hand it to your friend in class, like whatever.
Yes, if you still do that. Do they still
pass notes? I don't know if kids pass notes anymore. I have no clue, but
just gonna say we just kind of dated ourselves.
I'm assuming that young people don't listen to this podcast. So.
That is true.
I think it's not like I feel like it's an older crowd.
Definitely an older crowd.
Yes.
But do people still pass? What you just text someone at work?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Spring back note passing. Someone probably actually don't. Someone probably get arrested for
but if you're gonna pass a note, you have to fold it into like an intricate triangle.
Oh, definitely.
Type. Yeah.
And it has to be
can't just be a note.
Exactly. You always knew. We're gonna date ourselves a little bit here. You always knew when your girlfriend would give you a good note in school, when it would have it would take you half your study hall to figure out how she folded it. And then you're like, that was awesome. I didn't figure that out.
Oh, look at you having a high school girlfriend. Think you're so popular.
Yes.
I see.
Yes, I do.
Not shunned by your peers. I see.
No. She liked wrestling too. It was awesome.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. We turned her. We converted her. It was
very nice.
Just total quick story. My buddy that set us up, also a wrestling fan. Also, we're still friends to this day. And he somehow invited her to my house, which in the 21st century that would never exist. It's just you say that now, it's the creepiest thing in the world. Hey, you should go to my friend's house. It's just weird. And she did, and he showed up too, which was cool. And it was what are you doing? And I was like, well, it's Monday. I was going to watch wrestling. And the look of despair on her face is wow, I should have never listened to PJ and showed up at this guy's house.
Nice.
But she watched it, and she was intrigued by Austin and
cool.
Rock. Yeah.
Nice.
And we made her a fan.
Nice.
And by the end of high school, it was a 2-year relationship. By the end, she was even watching ECW. It was awesome.
There you go. Now, do they listen to the podcast?
I don't know, Jill. If you listen here, this is how we'll find out. Jill, if you listen to the podcast, hit me up on social media.
There you go.
If you still watch wrestling.
All right.
Yeah.
Bringing back old friendships. That's what this podcast is basically all about.
Or just randomly calling out someone that I dated in high school.
There you go. Also possible. Either way.
One of those two things just happened.
There you go.
Anyways, Dynamite was huge.
Yeah, massive Dynamite. Yeah, really huge. Great episode. Really
great
good
episode.
But I think they did it on purpose because it was our 1 year anniversary.
Totally.
They wanted to do something special for us.
Totally. Tony's a friend of the show, listener.
Yeah. We joke about that all the time. I would honestly not be surprised because he's so extremely online. I feel like somehow Tony Khan listens to 150 podcasts a week. He just somehow he listens to multiple ones at the same time.
Yes. And anything from some sort of fantasy football podcast to some Fortune 500 billionaires only club.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like he doesn't sleep. He's just constantly doing something.
He's probably related to Sidney Crosby now that we think about it.
But see, is that what it takes to be successful as a wrestling promoter? Because Vince McMahon also never sleeps, and he's a different kind of crazy, but they're both kind of crazy, right? So.
That is true. I guess if you're like that much of a billionaire, like you can't sleep.
Yeah, you just have to constantly be working.
See, that just again, like my ambition is so low. That just remotely doesn't even appeal to me in any way at all. Like, wait, I can get all that money, but like I got to work like all the time. Like, no, like give me my 9 to 5
There
with
you
way
go.
less money.
That's why we're not billionaires.
It's true.
Also, our family aren't billionaires, but that's
Right.
besides the point.
Right.
Anyway, Dynamite, good show.
Dynamite, great show. Um, it was the Road to Double or Nothing week 2. Uh, and well, they set the bar high from the very first match. Claudio and Ray Phoenix double Jeopardy match. I thought that was really cool. I just wish it wouldn't have been first because, like, the fireworks are going off at the beginning, and the crowd's pumped up, and Excalibur's trying to explain to you what the double Jeopardy match was.
Right, especially because
Which,
they started in the ring. They didn't have the intros on the
right.
show. Yeah.
So it was basically they both have belts. The winner gets a shot at the other's title. I
Yes.
thought it was really cool, but it just wasn't explained too well because it was first.
Right. I agree.
Um, uh, so Claudio is it's insanely strong, and the way that both of these guys they set the excuse the pun, they set the bar really high for the night. But
Yeah, I could watch Claudio like throw people around.
well,
Just
yeah, so
if that was the whole match, and even if that was the whole match, like if he's just throwing people around for like 10 minutes, that's cool. I could watch that.
yeah, and it's amazing. I wrote this down because it even stuck with me. Back in the day when you had guys, even like even like someone like The Rock at first. I mean, The Rock did morph into he could work with anybody, but like back in the day, guys couldn't work with anybody. Like these guys today are like hybrids. Like Claudio, like I mean, Ray Phoenix is luchador, and Claudio's a strongman, and they had it and lights out amazing, incredible match.
Yeah, they're really good at blending different styles
Stop, yeah,
together, which also we haven't seen very much because WWE tends to make everyone work the same. So
true.
the fact like they didn't used to, but they do now. So it is really fun to see, yeah, like a high flyer against a strong man type wrestler, and then Claudio can wrestle different, like he wrestles a little bit differently depending on who he's wrestling against. It's cool.
Yeah, and I mean these guys they basically set the building on fire for the entire night. Though I mean it was not
Yeah,
even the low points were insanely high points.
right. I agree.
Um, it was a great match. Claudio wins clean. Um, and I even watched a little bit of the newest episode of Ring of Honor. I won't spoil anything for you, but they're really putting an emphasis on who is Claudio going to choose.
Right. Yeah,
So
I was going to ask you that. Who do you think he would choose? Unless they already told us. Unless I
no,
just didn't
no, no.
see.
They
All right.
I but they're still making a big deal about it, which makes me think that it's not going to be somebody from the BCC.
Yeah, that's true. Because I mean, it probably wouldn't be Mox or Danielson. If it was going to be anyone, it would probably be Yuta.
Probably.
I would assume because Mox and Danielson aren't going to really like. I mean, they're not going to win the ROH tag titles. Or Claudio might.
Right.
Um,
Very
but
true.
yeah, it might not be the BCC. Maybe it's somebody else. Maybe like Takeshita ends up joining them and they pick him, or I don't know.
Oh, I was trying to think if there's any like I mean, there's no way it would ever happen. But if there was somehow like they knew that like Sheamus's contract was running out,
Yeah, I was thinking maybe someone from ROH. Like, is it like someone Claudio wrestled, 20 years ago? Tony Khan loves to do that. Bring back someone from a long
and
time ago.
well, let's bring back King's Wrestling. I mean,
Oh yeah, that's true.
if
Yeah,
we're gonna do anything,
he's not doing anything, is he?
he's been training people forever.
Right, but he's not
So
wrestling actively.
I know I don't think so.
He was in NXT for a while, but now he's not.
Yes, and like yeah, after he left NXT, I believe he either opened a school or he runs somebody's school.
Right.
Um, and I can't think of his name. I can think of his WWE name.
It's Chris. I was
Hero.
confused too. It's Chris Hero. I was lost a little bit too because I thought it was his WWE name, but
yeah, it was like weird.
Yeah, that's a good one. That would be really cool.
And then that just let that happen. Oh, that would be super cool.
Even like if it's just a one-off, just for him to like, even if they come and he lay lose, like that would just be cool.
That would be cool for like to sell the July Ring of Honor pay-per-view.
Right, I agree.
Oh, that's gonna be fun if that's even when it happens.
Yeah.
Well, Rick, you got some answers because he was only on for a second, but
yes,
Miro makes the surprise return.
That was the most. If you'd asked me to guess how he was going to return, I wouldn't have thought he'd just like walk in. But it was cool. But I was really surprised that he just like kind of walked in, and Renee was like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" I wonder if they're going to explain where he was or why he. I mean, he was gone a long time, right? So it feels a little bit like the stuff with the Bucks where they're just going to be gone for a while and come back and they're never going to tell you where they were. And that's slightly annoying. I would prefer if they explained where Miro was or he explained where he was, or even if it's not a good reason, even if he just said like, I was mad at that I lost the title. So I was gone for a while. At least it's something.
Right.
Him just being gone for like, it's almost a year now. And then I think when was he last wrestled? Like November? No, later. I don't know.
I think they said it was like 8 or 9 months. I read on the internet. So whenever that was.
Yeah, it's weird for him to just show up.
Agreed. Now, I'm gonna play devil's advocate again here, which I like to do on this show, as we learned. Too much is lining up with All Access.
Yes.
How much of this was pre-planned?
Yeah, I don't know. I obviously will probably never know. All Access, I just caught up on it. I mean, I didn't watch this week's, but I caught up previous to this week recently.
Right.
It seems like a lot of it is at least semi-worked.
Right.
Like the stuff, if you haven't watched it, this is the point where we spoil All Access. So if you don't want to, just forward for a couple minutes. The stuff with like Ty and Ruby seems really not real because they're just like super mad at each other, and then they go out and they're like, oh, and then as soon as they get backstage, they're like, oh, but I hate you. Like it seems like it's a little much. Like even that Ruby's so like mad that she broke her nose. Like people get hurt in wrestling like literally all the time. So like it's very weird that she's so mad at her.
Yeah, and like I could see if like when they played it off, like, oh, maybe, and of course this is what makes me think it's fake, because if Ty had broken 3 other people's noses with that move,
right? Yeah, then I would see like, oh, you're being dangerous, you're being reckless. Yeah,
right. But it's like, oh, she does a move that, I mean, she's kneeing you in the face. There's a high % chance she's actually going to knee you in the face.
Right.
Ruby knows that.
Right. I mean, they did kind of hint that they had problems in WWE, but they didn't really say what they were. So maybe like that's the only way it would make sense to me if like they had like a long running kind of argument with like they've hated each other for 10 years or whatever. Then I could see them when you're mad at someone, like a little thing that they do might upset you more than if it's somebody else.
Right.
But it seems a little fake to me.
It seems a little fake. And the other thing that bugs me about the show is like, it's supposed to be like this, exclusive look backstage or whatever. And obviously everybody is either mic'd or like the backstage area is mic'd, because there's no way someone's running around with a boom mic, because everybody is in perfect.
I noticed that specifically when Ty was like, "Oh, Ruby, come, let's go talk," and then they walked off. They walked away from everybody, but like clearly a camera crew with lighting followed them. Right?
It was lit perfectly. And,
right.
Yeah. So
they seem fake. The stuff with Britt and Thunder Rosa, I feel like Britt's the kind of person who's always working. I feel like she's working a little bit, and the stuff with the Bucks just bothers me.
well, yeah, the thing with Rosa and Britt, I mean, that lines up too perfectly
Yeah,
to like, I mean, come on, the season finale was last night. And she makes
right.
a return.
I
Uh,
do feel like Britt is the kind of person who is always working. She reminds me a little bit of like an MJF or maybe like a
totally.
CM Punk, who's like they're always constantly working. Like they're always, or Jericho even, like they're always kind of working. And some of the stuff is the truth, but they'll sprinkle in a work to make it seem like it's yeah. I feel like that's who she is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the
All
stuff
right.
with the Bucks is just like they're always like, oh, we didn't wrestle for 2 months. It's like it's 2 months, guys. Just calm down.
Exactly. And they weren't even on the show this week. So like they don't
Right.
wrestle every week when they're there. So
Right. And they're just like, oh, I'm not sure if people will remember us or how they're gonna. Yes, they will. It's 2 months.
and
Like, see, if they were gone for 10 years, sure. But like,
but the internet exists and they're on it all day long. So
right,
even if it was 10 years, no one would forget.
right, right. Like when CM Punk came back from 7 years, or like when
Right.
Kurt Angle left WWE and came
Right.
back, like 12 years later or whatever it was. That I could see. Oh, I don't know how people are going to respond, but like it's been 2 months, and you've constantly been talking. You follow the internet, people are talking about you.
Right.
Like,
Uh each of the four pillars got their own little vignette tonight. I thought that was really cool.
that was really
And
cool. I liked it a lot.
yeah, and I like that they didn't like say, "Hey, we're going to give you four of these throughout the night." They just started with MJF, and then I forget who was second, Jungle Boy or something,
Yeah,
and then you kind of figured out, "Oh, I bet you were going to get all four."
yeah, and they
Like
didn't
it
like
was
brand them like a look at the four pillars. It was just like,
exactly.
yeah, it
It
was good.
it was very cool. Well, I think it's safe to say that CM Punk's officially coming back
Yes,
because
very overt CM Punk mentions in this MJF.
yeah,
He named him. He mentioned the match. I mean, he mentioned Cody too, but still,
yes, and they showed Punk for the first time.
yes,
Uh, Even though it was just highlights and blah blah blah, but I mean, we have seen his face, but AEW has not shown his face since
right. Even when they showed
the
like highlights of stuff that happened, they never showed him.
right. Well, I mean, they even blocked him out on the truck a few weeks back.
Right. Well, that's because he's never coming back.
True.
Right.
That's
That's what everyone
he was
said.
going to be at Mania. That's right. I forgot.
Yes, that's right. But
Um,
yeah, I honestly, I also like they rarely mentioned Cody until he lost at WrestleMania. Then like, okay, we can mention him
yes,
now. Like,
because they're helping keeping his character alive. So
yeah.
that's the sad part.
I feel like if he won, they wouldn't mention him. But now that he
Right.
lost, he's like, oh, we're free to mention him. It's fine.
Yes.
Like,
MJF did something in this promo that you brought up to me that um, somebody said years ago.
I think it was Foley.
MJF, what's up?
I think it was Mick Foley who said that.
Oh, okay. Because I was
Yeah.
gonna say MJF went out of his way to put the other three over.
Yeah.
So you said it was Mick Foley that
Yeah, I
said
think
it.
it was Mick Foley who said basically if you
Yeah,
demean your opponent and make them look like nothing, all it
if
does
you
for you is
win,
even if you
yeah,
win, you look like you beat nobody.
yes, and he went out of his way to like even in MJF fashion. Like I don't have to like him, but I can respect what he does. Like
Right.
it was
Yeah.
so well done.
Yeah. And yeah, when he compared them to the Beatles, he wasn't like, I was all the Beatles and you were like the guys
Yes.
who carried their instruments. Like, no, he compared
Yeah.
them to like members of the Beatles. Yeah. He said
Yeah.
he was better than the rest of them, but he still said they were all good.
It,
Yeah.
it, it very well done. Yes.
Yes.
Um. Well, we'll get into the other ones later, but I think they did a heck of a job. For the first time, I care about this match now. I mean, I cared about it, but now I care about it. If that makes any sense.
Right. I agree. Yeah, it's this is a big match because it's not only is it a 4-way match with AEW, I don't think they've done on a pay-per-view like a 4-way. They
I don't
did a
think so.
triple threat match once, but they haven't done a 4-way for the world title. And it's also all quote unquote new guys. There's no one
Yes.
established. They always had Jericho or Moxley or Punk
Right.
or even like Kenny Omega, who wasn't like a WWE guy but like well established
Right.
in wrestling. These are 4 guys who no one really knew who they were until they got to AEW, and it's the first time they've had a match like that in a main event of a pay-per-view. So it's big for them, and they're doing a good job making it seem like it's important.
And yes, and it's out of this world. Like I said, I literally one promo like changed the whole game for me. It's
Yeah. Yeah, none of them were even actually on the show. They just had the
Right.
video pack.
These, and I don't know if these video packages are that new producer that came from WWE, or if this is a Jarrett thing, but I enjoy them. Like
Yeah.
the last week with the Briscoe thing, like yeah, that was funny, and people didn't quite understand it, but it was very well done, and it still made sense. It
And
just
there's a
wasn't filler.
and there's a good number of them. Like they don't have too many. They have enough that
Right.
it breaks up the show a little, but they're not like moments ago
Right.
every 5 minutes.
Yes.
Oh, that's what made me one of the things that made me stop watching WWE. Every 2 minutes, they're like, moments ago. I'm like, I'm watching the show. I saw it. You don't have to show it again.
I well, I don't know how you say you watched Mania a couple years ago, or maybe
Yeah.
even this past year,
Yeah.
and you were like, they just keep telling you what just happened.
Yeah.
It
Over
like
and over again.
like it's just
Nonstop. I'm like, I am watching. Like, no other form of television does that except for them.
and it's like I'm not gonna stay on this long because I don't want to sit here and dump all over them, but do they do that for the fact that like do they think people are flipping the channel, or do they do that because they just don't care, and you know, not saying that they're insulting their fans' intelligence, they just don't even care. It's like we're doing it this way and this is how it's going to be. Deal with
I
it.
really think it's that they think they have a message they want to tell you or something they want to tell you, and they beat you over the head with it. Like it's not
Oh,
enough to show
okay.
it once; they have to show it to you 5 times, so you like truly get. Oh, did you see? Are you sure you saw? Are you sure? Because we're gonna show it again if you didn't see. Like I think
I
that's what
got
it
you.
is. I think that's what it is.
So it's like don't even let the story speak for itself.
No,
Like we're just
never.
going to
Oh, the
force
story
this.
has never spoken for itself in the last like I don't know 10 years. They will explicitly
Gotcha.
tell you every single thing repeatedly. But anyway, moving on.
Anyway, moving right along. And speaking of Mark Briscoe,
Yes.
um, FTR had a little in ring, uh, and they asked Mark Briscoe to come out, and of course, Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, Sanjay Dutt, and Satnam Singh show up. And then I, this whole thing with Mark Briscoe, first off, is incredible, and I love that people love it.
Yeah.
Like when he came out, I was like, "What the hell y'all doing?" And
Yeah.
like the crowd just started cheering. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Um, he announces he's going to be the special guest referee.
Yes.
Uh, and they were all going to do a shot, and then Sanjay spit the booze in Dax's face, and like the calamity happens.
I can't tell you how many times I've accidentally piled drive the wrong person just because I couldn't see, so I just happened to pile drive the wrong person. It happens. It's a common mistake.
I love that only in professional wrestling can you accidentally pile drive somebody.
I love that it was a pile driver. It's not like he just swung and punched him. It's like no, he
Right,
did a pile driver to the wrong
right.
person. Like he set him up.
Yeah. And I love that Excalibur still explains it to you that, well, it was because he was blinded. It's like, oh,
Right.
not because it was ridiculous that he did a pile driver. No, it was, oh, that makes more sense.
Oh yeah.
Someone spit booze in his eye.
So he's blinded for like a couple minutes. Yeah, of course.
Right.
Of course.
But it was still a hell of a pile driver, though.
Yes,
I mean,
it really was.
it really was. It was very pretty.
It really was good.
Um, but I mean, obviously, this is setting up. Mark Briscoe is going to either turn on one of these two teams.
Yes.
What do you see happening?
I don't think he'll. I part of me thinks that Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal are going to win because they are getting over. It'd be kind of cool to give them titles. But I don't think they're going to make Mark Briscoe a heel. So I can't see him turning on FTR. But I don't know. I'm not sure what to think. What do you think?
I honestly initially I was kind of with you. I thought they were going to win, but I didn't think they were going to win the belts. If that made like
Right.
DQ, like something like Briscoe would DQ him or something. I don't know.
Right.
But like I don't think they're going to take the belts off FTR after that big, long, convoluted way to get the belts back on them.
Right. Yeah.
Uh
Maybe Mark
so
Briscoe finally turns on Jarrett. Maybe that's it. Or Jay Lethal.
well, I was going to say, you know, Mark Briscoe didn't he? did he say publicly that he's just like he's retired from tagging? He's not gonna like he'll do trios, but he will never just do a
Yeah, I
straight
think so.
tag
Or
match.
I don't know if that means he won't be in a tag match or he's not going to have like a team. I
Oh,
don't know.
okay. I see.
I'm not
Okay.
sure.
Well, I was gonna say maybe he wouldn't necessarily go heel, but maybe he would just stay with Lethal and Double J and just be like a like an unwilling trio.
Right. Yeah, that's possible.
But I don't know. This again, this whole show is nuts. But this match now all of a sudden got very interesting.
Right. It's more interesting. Like I had no interest in seeing this match
Exactly.
before this. Yeah. And now
Exactly.
it's at least I want to see what happens.
Yeah, and oh, there's so many wild cards in it. I love it.
Yes.
Uh, and then right after that segment, Renee was a very busy lady.
She was all over the place.
She really was. Um, Renee backstage with Jericho, who, okay, again, we all know I like to stir the pot, but everything that the internet says that's going on backstage, Jericho basically said in this promo.
Right.
He refuses to work on a show with this guy. Blah 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 blah.
Oh yeah, Jericho's another guy who is always always
Totally.
working.
He's totally always working.
Yeah.
Roderick Strong shows up, and he has his own set of paperwork from a lawyer. Which I hope there's another lawyer, like, and it's not Mark Sterling.
It's just Mark Sterling is both their lawyers for some
exactly.
reason. Yeah.
Like I really hope they somehow pull, like even if it's a real lawyer and it's
right.
just a guy who stands there, like
right.
Then again, it would kind of be funny if it really was Mark Sterling. And he was like, "Hey, I just, you guys paid me. I did
yeah.
work."
That would actually make it really good if they did that.
That actually what? Yeah, because I mean, he is playing a crooked, slimy lawyer, so why wouldn't he be paying both sides?
Right.
Roderick Strong has his own set of lawyers and has his own set of rules, which means it's falls count anywhere, street fight.
Yeah, and the JAS is banned.
And the JAS is
and
banned.
Adam Cole is banned.
And Adam Cole is banned. But if you notice, I noticed something. Jericho said that Adam Cole was only banned from the building.
True.
Roderick Strong said falls count anywhere. So does that
That's
mean
true.
if he pushes Jericho outside?
Oh, that'd actually be really cool. I would like that.
Right.
Yeah, I would like that. He pushes him outside and then Adam Cole hits him and is like, well, you said building. Yeah,
right.
That'd be fun.
And then like he would like lock the door. Like Roderick Strong would lock the door. Jericho would get counted out.
Right.
And
yeah.
Cole would be standing there.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And it would be an embarrassment to Jericho because he got locked out of the building. Hilarious.
That explains that. What I would like to see that would explain why again, it always seems like Jericho spends a little bit too much time getting to the thing he needs to do.
Exactly.
Like he comes out and goes, I have legal counsel, and then you have legal. Like they could have. Jericho literally just could have come out and said,
yes, I got this match signed. Here's the stipulation.
Right. He could have just come out and said, I'm mad at Adam Cole. Roderick Strong come in and go, hey, I want a false count anywhere match. And he goes, okay, well, we have to ban everyone else from the match. Sure. Done. Right.
Right. Yeah, then that's it. It's over.
But yeah, it's fine. I want to, I'll watch. I want to see what happens.
Totally. And then just like Miro, Tony Khan's office was a little busy.
Yes, which is interesting because they never show Tony Khan's office before.
Exactly. And I like how there's just a printed out piece of paper that just said Tony Khan on it. Like they could have at least got something. Like it said like, president and CEO. No, just a big sign that says Tony Khan.
Right.
Which is just incredible. Thunder Rosa.
Yes, Thunder Rosa returns. Yes.
Thunder Rosa makes her glorious return in a meeting with Tony Khan.
Now, was Miro still in the room?
See, they
because Renee said she was waiting for Miro to come out.
Exactly.
That's why she was there.
Right. So, they're going to do this so right, aren't they? Like, they're going to have like an explanation for everything, and it's going to be so absurd.
Yeah, they really do explain their stuff really well, which I like.
Yeah, like it'll be something like Miro traveled to like the Holy Land And he like went on a trek across the desert. Like, I hope that's what it is.
I hope they explain that. Now, do you think that this means Thunder Rosa is cleared to wrestle? Because from what I've heard, she's pretty injured.
Yeah, same here. Unless, like, what we
Unless you
just
ask Britt
talked about.
Baker, then she's not injured at all.
Exactly. Or unless you go back to what we talked to earlier, and All Access is totally a worked show to further storylines and blur lines.
Right, that's true.
And it's going to make Britt look like a fool. Like,
And
oh,
make
run your
Thunder
mouth.
Rosa look, yeah.
Right. Oh, run your mouth more. You don't know what the heck you're talking about.
Right.
You know.
And it makes Thunder Rosa look better if they just told you that she was, so badly injured, and then when she returns, people are going to be more excited to see her. Versus
like
what they would have felt if like they're like, oh, she has a minor injury. Yeah.
Right. And like, again, I know this totally just our opinion, like that this show is a little, there's just something off about it.
Yeah.
If that is the premise of this show, and we probably will never know that officially, that is a game changer, and that is bringing wrestling into the 21st century.
Right. I was thinking when I was watching All Access that I wish it was a bit more up to date. Like the stuff they're talking about happened last year.
Right.
Right. I wish that it was like, maybe they can't do time to edit it and write they can't do it the same
like week to week, right?
But like if it was from like a couple weeks ago, like if it was like from last month or something, that would be. I would think I would like the show a lot more if they're like, oh, you just saw this match between these two wrestlers. Now we will show you what led up to it backstage. Like that would be versus cool. This is what led up to the match that happened in November.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Maybe next season.
Maybe next season.
Yeah.
Hey, it's. I mean, I didn't see the number. Well, yeah, the numbers came out today, but I didn't see them yet. Yeah. It was doing.
It's doing fine, and it's on at like 11 o'clock on a
exactly
10 o'clock on a Wednesday. So like that's
I've still not seen an entire episode the first time through.
Yeah, no, I never watch it when it's actually airs. Then coming out of this, we had coming out of commercial break, Tony Khan caught in the headlights again.
A huge announcement for next week, which it's probably going to be the announcement of Collision, because the Warner Brothers was a quarterly meeting or something is next Wednesday.
Yeah, they have like the upfronts where they talk about the shows that are coming up.
That's what it is.
Now, did Tony Khan? I didn't watch it back. I feel like he said next week Dynamite on TNT, which it's not on TNT, is it? Isn't it on TBS?
It's on TBS.
I feel like he said TNT, which if that would be really weird because I think this was pre-taped.
It definitely was pre-taped. Oh, that's incredible! I missed it.
I have to watch it again, but I feel like he did say TNT. But anyway, so this kind of makes it seem like people like Miro and Thunder Rosa are going to be on Collision, because he basically said, "Oh, we had a lot of meetings today. We have a lot of talent who wants more TV time, so we have a solution for it." And obviously, the solution is a Saturday show.
Right.
Is the Saturday show, do you think, going to be the people who haven't been on Dynamite too often, but like they're main event guys, but they just haven't been on often enough? Do you think that's how they're gonna do it, or is it just another show?
I think it's gonna be a clean slate for a bunch of people,
right?
Punk included.
Yeah.
It's like a new start, a fresh start, and not just because like not saying like that Punk has trouble or whatever. Like, this is just like Miro was over, but like he wasn't. Thunder Rosa was like, she was majorly over, and now she's gonna have to work to get back over. Same with Miro too. Like, Miro has that like WWE like, oh, we're just happy to see him, and he's like, but still, I don't know.
He hasn't really been in a storyline since
that's what I was just,
TNT title stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, he kind of has a little thing with House of Black, but
now is there a danger of this turning into like the disgruntled employee show, where it's like people who had like, maybe had problems, they're going to be. I mean, the rumors kind of changed. At first they said they're going to split the two shows, and now they're saying they're not really going to split the two shows. It's going to be like a soft split. Like
Yeah.
they'll be like they've always kind of had with like Rampage. Like
Right.
remember we said like, oh, it's weird to see Hook on
Hook
Dynamite
on
because he was always on
Right.
Rampage. Right. So I feel like that's the kind of split they're gonna have. Like it's not like you can't go to the other show. It's just gonna be you'll be mostly on this show because that's the group you tour with. Is it going to be like the disgruntled employee stage, like the people who didn't get TV time or who maybe have backstage issues with someone else, like they're all going to be on that show? Or is this just, it was not how they're pitching it, right? They're like, it's not necessarily what's going to happen, but like, oh, we know Thunder Rosa has backstage problems, and you know, like if you're paying attention, you know Miro does, and you know Punk does. So what's going to happen when they're all like? Is that just their gimmick to make you watch the show?
I'd never put two and two together, but guaranteed that's what the gimmick is.
Yeah,
because it's just too much, and that's what the rumor today. Andrade is going to be on it.
right.
Someone who he got in a fight with Sammy.
Yeah. Is it just like I feel like if Eddie Kingston comes back, maybe they'll put him on that on Saturdays, right? Like it's going to be like these guys don't get along with other people backstage, so yeah, maybe put Ty and Sammy on there, and put Ruby on Dynamite and be like, oh, because they can't get along, right? Like,
and now just saying all this out loud, do you think does this maybe even become like a little edgier of a show?
Yeah, I was wondering, are they good if they're going to make them different from one another?
Right.
Is Collision going to be, Saturday Dynamite basically, where it's the same kind of show, but it's on another day?
Right.
Or are they going to try to make, I would like if they made them different, if they had like a completely different feel to the shows.
I agree.
Maybe I don't know if they're going to do a new set because that's a lot to do a whole second set, but that would be really cool if they did. I would like them to be different. Yeah, for sure.
I could see them honestly having a second set because if they're going to have two travel groups anyway,
right, that's true.
You can't have the same set.
And especially if the rumors are true that Warner Brothers is giving them a ridiculous amount of money, then they can.
Yeah,
I'd build a new set for that much money.
Or I mean, don't forget they have the old set. Like even if they start with, the old Dynamite set.
Right, or just parts of it, like reuse a section of it or something, and add a new screen or something. Yeah,
there you go.
That would be cool. I mentioned this to you offline, but AEW has always had like a split feel to it. Like there's different people in the company who wanted to go different directions, and that's not bad. I mean, that's what kind of one of the things that makes it cool, right? Is there's a lot of different stuff happening on the shows. And when Cody was around, it always seemed like Cody wanted it to be like more like the territory system, like a WCW or like an old school NWA. That's what he wanted the shows to be like. Whereas guys like Kenny and the Bucks, they wanted to have like a New Japan, West Coast PWG sort of new quote unquote wrestling style. More high spots, more high flyers, more stuff like that. Whereas Cody wanted to do like, strap matches and more old school type stuff. Now it kind of seems like there might be a split between like the Bucks and Kenny, and then like the ROH, the old ROH style, the 2005 ROH style, with Punk and Danielson and Samoa Joe and people like that. Like, is the Saturday show maybe going to be how they do the split? Like, yeah, it is going to be a little bit different. It's going to feel more like a reality based, wrestling in ring based show versus a high flying, even like the stuff like Mox does, the violence, like maybe the high flyers and the hardcore stuff is going to be on Dynamite, and maybe like
it's more of like a like traditional,
more of like a ring based, not traditional, but more of like a ring based like reality type show. And that's why they're having the people with the backstage quote unquote problems on there, because it's going to be we're fighting each other because we have problems with each other, not because we want to put on the best match for the fans, like maybe the Young Bucks do or Kenny Omega does. We want to do we're fighting each other because we actually have problems with each other. I don't know.
Like that's really cool. I hope that it happens.
I was just thinking of how they're going to make them different. That would be I think would be a cool way to make them different.
I totally agree. That would be wonderful.
And that's not to say, and what I was thinking too, not to stay on this topic for too long. I think they're going to try to keep them quote unquote brand split for a while. Not because of backstage problems or whatever, just because if the Elite are always, and Kenny Omega and Moxley and the BCC, whatever, are all on Wednesdays, and they're always on Wednesdays, and Punk and maybe an FTR and Miro and whoever are always on Saturdays, when someone goes on the other show, it's going to be so much cooler. Like if one day on Dynamite or one day on Collision, Kenny Omega shows up, you'll be like, oh, he's never been on this show.
Right.
Like that'll immediately be a cool moment versus if, oh yeah, he was on that show 3 weeks ago, or so it's not that great. But I think if you separate them for a bit, when they do get to meet each other, it'll be cooler.
I agree. It just because this just popped in my head right now. Who do you think is going to be the announce team?
I don't know. I was thinking maybe like the Ring of Honor guys, but they do Ring of Honor shows.
Yeah.
I mean, Excalibur and Taz should stay on Dynamite. They do a good job.
Agreed.
They're really great together. If Rampage becomes like the third brand, like the mid card show, not necessarily like a nobody show, but like a mid card type show.
Right.
I don't know if JR is going to keep doing it because is he going to want to be on the mid card show? Maybe it's JR. I don't know.
That's a good.
I mean, they have a lot of announcers signed. I mean, they have Paul White, they have Mark Henry, they have.
Oh,
they have a lot of people.
I forgot about that. And now, I mean, Daddy Magic was crushing it on.
And Dark and Elevation are gone now, so
yeah, for at least now.
For at least now, until we maybe they'll be back.
Moving right along. Sammy's vignette was next.
Yes.
They're really pulling at your heartstrings with Sammy, and it really worked.
Yeah, they're really face like this is a really face video package.
Yes.
Considering how much people tend to hate Sammy.
Yeah.
But it's working. Like I think I understand why they're doing it because everybody against MJF should be a face, right? Because he's so just unlikable that like everyone should be a face against him. I think you're right. It's working.
Now here's my after seeing this vignette for Sammy last night. Are they going to give him the Shawn Michaels moment? Does he beat him and make the childhood dream come true?
I don't think yet. I think I think the way AEW does things, and I think they're pretty old school in this respect. And I think I'm just guessing, but this is how I think that they would act. I think when they have a title change, they want it to be like a big one-on-one match. Because it's a 4-way, I don't think it'll happen. I think if they 6 months from now did a one-on-one match where Sammy went for the title, I could see him being more likely to win that one.
That makes sense. I'll agree with you on that. That's
because I think they have been pretty. They protect the title really well.
Yeah.
So I think they want to continue doing that.
Agreed. Oh man, this is so fun.
It's weird, and I know like we obviously have no connection to Tony Khan whatsoever, but I do kind of feel like I know how Tony Khan books because he's same age as us. He's watched the same wrestling as us, and he really loves the same kind of stuff that we tend to love. So I feel like I can tell where he's maybe coming from in a lot of these, and that's not to say like I'm any more in tune with anything than anybody else. I just think anybody who's our age and who's watched the same wrestling he's watched kind of has similar thoughts to him.
Absolutely. Going into Double or Nothing, this is it's unbelievable.
This is going to be we've said it before, this is going to be a absolutely ridiculous summer for AEW.
Unbelievable summer. I mean, International Championship, Orange Cassidy, Daniel Garcia. What a showing for Daniel Garcia.
Yeah, really good match. Daniel Garcia has kind of, not that he hasn't been interested, he's always been a good wrestler. He's, in the last little while, I've stopped caring about him. Like, I cared about it when he had the feud with Danielson, and then for a while I was just like, he's fine. But like, no, this was really good. This made me care about him again.
Yeah.
I thought he might do it. I thought he might win.
I was right there too. It was a great match, but the way Orange Cassidy played the injured hand, it's like that's like next level. Like to be in a moment and being like 20 minutes into a wrestling match and still just rubbing his hand. Like, oh, it was just so well done.
Yeah,
If you were paying attention.
this title run for him has been incredible. Like the work he's done to like establish not only his character but like the struggle he's going through, and it's been great.
I think they said like he won the title in what, November, December?
Yeah, I think
Like,
so.
That's just, it does not seem like that long ago.
No, it doesn't at all.
Like, see, he's getting to that point where, like, I mean, obviously they could keep the title on for 20 years if they wanted to, but
Right.
it's getting to that point where he's becoming the longest tenured title holder now, you know?
Yeah, at least male type, not Jade, outside of Jade.
Well, not, yeah.
But yeah, male title holder.
Yeah, so it's getting to that point where, okay, I could see him losing it, but like, where at? Like, it would make the most sense at All In, but it also makes sense at Forbidden Door because it's an international show.
Right. Yeah, for him to lose the international title then, yeah.
Right.
And I do like how they've set it up with the hand thing, that he kind of like, you never know any match. Like he could lose at any time. But also he's done so well that like maybe he's not going to lose it, right? Like it's been really good.
Oh, it's been so good. How'd you feel about the ending, real quick?
I liked it. I thought it was good. I really liked the I think they kind of botched it a little bit, which it's fine.
Yeah.
I liked Garcia stomping on his hand. I think Orange was supposed to roll him up from the move.
I agree.
But didn't quite do it. But other than that, like I thought it was good.
I liked it too. Like not a lot of people, but some people were complaining that it kind of happened too fast. But
I like that it happened fast. I thought it was good.
I agree. And if you're playing into that, if you're selling the sport as real, okay, we all know that the matches are between 5 and 20 minutes. Everybody knows that.
Right.
But not everyone has to end the way that a normal one ends. Like, look at an MMA fight. Like,
right,
a guy could be getting destroyed and throw one punch and it's over. You know,
right.
It makes it a little more interesting, other than, oh, they'll be coming to the end soon because they've been wrestling for 18 minutes.
Right. Yeah. No, I liked it. I thought it was a good ending.
Same here.
It also put them both over. It put over Daniel Garcia. Like, Orange had to kind of just roll him up to get the win. That's how badly he was beaten down.
Right.
But also it put over Orange. Like, oh, he didn't quit. He was
right.
beaten down really badly, but he did something to get. I thought it was great. It was a good ending.
Couldn't agree more. What did you think of Christian's promo with Shivani?
It was good. I liked it.
It was so good.
I really liked when he was just like, "Oh, you're a lot like Jungle Boy, that you've been looking for someone to lead you, but I'm not going to make fun of your father because no one cares about him."
It was so mean and good.
It was so mean, and then it just went into Arn Anderson, and then just also insulted Arn. It was great. And I love the lack of self-awareness of Christian being like, "You're just the less famous Arn Anderson. You're the less famous member of a tag team," and the crowd correctly picked up that. Oh, so is he?
Yeah.
Like, and that was on purpose. That was like,
oh, totally,
just to show how lacking in self-awareness he is, that he thinks he's not just another guy in a tag. It was great. I thought it was great. Christian is excellent. I hope he wins the title.
I agree.
I don't want Wardlow to lose it because he just got it, and like he's had like but it would be really fun if he won the title.
I mean, it would put a name back on that title.
Yeah.
Like, but it's he's so, it just blows my mind. Like, he definitely had a Hall of Fame career in WWE. You can't take away the title reigns with Edge and the TLC matches and all this, but this talent was there on the mic the whole time, and they never let him speak.
Yeah. He's such an incredible heel because he doesn't just take shots at you. He makes it make sense. Like why he's making fun of your family. Like he explains. Like it's great.
So good. So good. The next vignette from the 4 pillars that we had was Darby's.
Yes.
seeing Darby's dad was actually kind of funny.
That was fun. Yeah.
Uh, and just the fact that like they just showed like his everyday life is like a circus.
He
He
was like,
just
"This
had
is where
like
I drove my car over a house." Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then he was like, here's the skate park.
Yeah.
Here's where I jumped my quad. And you're just like, oh my God. Uh it but it's a different side of Darby.
Yeah.
Like that was the most human they've ever made him.
Right. Yeah.
Like it wasn't dark and mysterious and
Yeah. It wasn't
Darby's like,
like
no,
in black and white, like shot. Yeah. It
yeah,
was like a real. Yeah.
yeah,
It was. He's like a real person. Yeah. That's
yeah,
true.
this is my house. This is what I do every day, blah blah blah. Like, ah, like, well, all those were really well done, but that was the most interesting in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I agree.
Uh what is there left to say about probably most improved wrestler of the year, Julia Hart? Would
Oh
you
yeah,
agree?
Julia Hart is great. She went from like essentially nothing. Like
Exactly.
when she was the manager for, what was her tag team name? I don't even remember now. Um
The varsity
Varsity
athletes.
Blondes. Varsity Blondes.
No, that was Varsity Blondes. Yeah, I was gonna say Hollywood Blondes. No, that was his
Yeah, no,
dad. Yeah,
Varsity
Varsity
Athletes is
Blondes.
is
That's
what's
the
his
new
name
one.
now? Yeah.
Yeah.
When she was their manager, she was just like generic manager.
Yep.
And now she's great. Like everything about her is great. Her entrance is great. Her like personality is great. She's definitely most improved.
And not taken away from Anna Jay, she brought it in this match too.
Oh yeah, it was a great match, both of them.
Yeah. And they gave him the 9 o'clock hour. I thought that was
Yes.
really cool. They gave him the
Yes.
top of the hour and they went. It, the beginning of this match, they just beat the heck out of each other.
Yeah.
Like, you like they were not thigh slapping whenever they were throwing forearms.
Right. No, this was, I think both of them probably decided backstage,
yes.
like, oh yeah, this is our big moment. So let's just like hit each other and like both
apologize
be okay with
later.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're going to set the precedent now. We're going to beat the heck out of each other and apologize later.
Yeah. It was really good.
Julia with the clean win. So
I think the superplex was supposed to hit all the chairs, but that's fine. They kind of missed out. But that's fine.
All good. Do you think they continue to play up the mist in
Anna Jay? Yeah, probably. Because she still has like the makeup, right? That's like,
yes.
Yeah. I was surprised that it was a clean win because I thought that they were going to keep playing that up, but maybe they like Anna Jay moves on and just goes back to Jericho, but like she's changed now, or she's like, I don't know, she's darker now or something. I don't know.
That's what they did with Julia, remember?
Right.
It took like 2 months, 3 months.
Right. Oh, and yeah, she just went back to like the cheerleader thing, but like then, yeah.
I hope that's what they do. That would be sick. Just
that would be good.
Slowly make her more disconnected with the JAS.
Yeah, they need to make the JAS smaller anyway. I feel like they're taking Sammy and Ty out of it, just based on how they're. And yeah, Anna Jay should leave. Like if it was just Jericho and 2.0 and Garcia, that would be fine. And Jake Hager, they don't need. They could trim it down.
Yeah, I agree with that. And talk about cool. How cool is the whole open house match concept?
Yeah, and I love the look with the lights.
The
lights down. I think, but they kept the House of Blacks like video on the screen. If you noticed,
yes,
it had like black static or whatever on the screen. Yes. It was cool. I thought it looked really good.
It looked so good. It was so like the littlest things. Who would have thought to just turn all the lights out, like the house lights, and just keep the ring light on and give it that. Well, it's what it used to look like, when you watch the old, like videos from the 70s. Like you didn't want to see the crowd, like like. That's
I like the look of it. I think it's really cool.
I thought it was
and it sets it apart. Like, oh, what's this? Like, why is it different? Right? Like, it makes the trios titles different too. Like, as opposed to just they're not just a tag match with an extra person on each team. Like, it's different now. I like it.
And I love that the best friends didn't understand the house rules.
Yes, they're like, no witches. I don't know. That's the thing we pick.
Yeah, can we pick that? The best friends are so great.
Yes, I really like that extra rule, the dealer's choice rule, where like they can, the opponents can pick what they want. Pick a rule, make up a rule. Though someone said, "Why don't they make the rule like you're not allowed to hit us?"
Hey,
you can pick a rule. You guys can't fight back. We're allowed to hit you, but you can't hit us.
that'd be incredible. That'd just be awesome. Just what a fun match. Like that was fun.
Yeah. And like Brody King is he's already over, but he's getting even more over. Like
everybody in the house is over.
He looked like Malachi Black was the star of this founding of the group when it founded. Brody King is quickly emerging as like a star of this. Like not to knock Buddy Matthews either, because he's also doing a great job. Right. But like Brody King is coming out as like the star of the group right now.
Yeah, that's true.
And neither of them are doing a bad job. Like Malachi and Buddy aren't doing a bad job. It's just Brody King is just doing an excellent job.
Now, the House of Black wins clean.
Yes.
So on to the next. I definitely thought we were going to get like somebody show up on the screen.
To like challenge them for next time or something. Yeah.
But I obviously that didn't happen. But we did get Kyle Fletcher standing over Orange Cassidy.
Yes.
And it looks like we're going to get Kyle Fletcher versus Orange Cassidy next week.
Yes.
That match is going to be off the hook.
I agree. I don't think he wins, but I do think it sets something up.
It's going to, I think it's
someone else from Aussie Open or someone else from New Japan.
Yes.
But yeah, it'll be fun.
Oh, it'll be great.
I know. I think Ospreay's still not cleared. Is he?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Either way, it's gonna set something up.
Cool. Definitely setting something up.
Yeah.
Then we had, before the main event, we had the final vignette of the night. We had the Dak Perry vignette, and surprisingly, Christian was the star of that too.
Yeah, I like that because they had Sting. They had Sting talk for Darby,
right?
And they had sorry, I'm going blank now. Jericho talk for Sammy. So they each had like their legend talk about them. And then they had Christian, even though Christian's not with Jack Perry anymore. They still had him talking about him, which I liked.
And Christian put him over as a heel. Like I thought it was so great. He was like, that's why I chose him. But he wasn't strong enough or smart enough to realize. Like it was just so good.
Right.
Like,
it was
brought
good.
him up and put him down at the same time.
He still he put him over. Like it wasn't like an out of character thing for Christian. Like he was still Christian, and he still like insulted him, but he also put him. It was good.
It was very good. Like I said, this whole episode totally just made me care about that main event now.
I agree.
And we'll just get, speaking of main events.
Yes.
Steel Cage, Mox and Omega. Unfreaking believable.
Yeah, and this felt huge from like the minute they announced it. Like this was a big match. Like they're right when they say this could have been a pay-per-view. This could have been a pay-per-view.
Totally could have been a pay-per-view. And I would have felt the same. Like I would have not felt bad for spending $50 on it.
Right. No, it was great. I love the stuff they did at the beginning with the BCC and the Bucks. I thought it was great.
Yes.
I laughed when like the Bucks attacked Wheeler Yuta and threw him off the stage, and Danielson he was on commentary. He didn't do anything, and like he only got upset when they came over to him. Like previously, he was just like, "Oh, you throw Yuta off the stage? That's fine. I'm okay with that." And like, I do kind of like how they still treat Wheeler Yuta as like, "Oh, he's our trainee, so he gets beat up sometimes. That's fine." Right? Like, he's not like he's not like the three of them. He's like they're like, I don't know, extra guy.
The lackey.
Yeah. And they don't, it's not like in a demeaning sense. It's just like he has to go through this. So we're okay with him like getting beaten up because he has to learn. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. When Mox scared the heck out of me when he jumped Omega on the ramp. Let's just start with that.
Yeah.
That was obviously planned. And the way that production had the camera set up where you didn't like, Omega's just like walking along, dude, boom, there's
Right.
knee in his face. It was so good.
Right. Yeah.
um, they promised violence. Of course, I mean, Mox is involved.
Yes.
It could be a contract signing, and Mox would bleed
Why is he
somehow.
bleeding? He just is.
Yeah, paper cut. I don't know.
he stabbed himself in the head with a fork. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's a contract signing. I don't know. So yeah, there was barbed wire on chairs. There was broken glass. Like
Yeah.
that was
One thing I
disturbing.
actually really liked was that the glass was disturbing. What I really liked was for the first half or large
Yeah,
portion of the match, the barbed wire chair was like the only weapon they had
yeah,
which I liked because it made it meaningful as opposed to like, oh yeah, they had a barbed wire chair and then a brick and then another chair and
yeah,
then a baseball bat and then like you would have forgot about the barbed wire chair because they also got hit with 5 other things.
yeah.
But the chair being the only weapon for a while made it more meaningful.
And it gave them something to try to gain control of.
Right. Yeah.
It was really well done.
Yeah. And then Moxley trying to take the ring apart and having a bit of trouble with it. Was that in picture or was that live?
It was both because it took so long.
Yeah, for a while he was like trying to get the ring apart and he was just like they worked it really well though, because he was trying to get the ring apart and it wasn't working. Like he couldn't pull it off.
Right.
And then Omega realized that and came up to him and like hit him in the back so that Moxley went after him a bit more and then knocked him down again and then went back to the ring post because like Kenny Omega laying there for 5 minutes while Moxley tried to take apart the ring wouldn't have made any sense. So they correctly realized, oh, we have to explain why you're still knocked out. So let's punch you again. It was good.
It was.
And Mox really wouldn't quit on the ring ropes. He was just like, no, this is the spot I'm doing.
Yes, I loved every second. He was so determined to get that. Well, and we saw why it had to come off.
Right. Yeah.
but we'll just jump to that. Speaking of, how did Kenny Omega not tear every ligament in his knee?
Oh, I was sure when he went through the cage and his leg went between the ring and the cage.
Yes,
I was sure he like ripped his because I don't know if he was selling or he actually was hurt because he on the outside grabbed his knee and a guy came to check on him. Right. I don't know if that was real or not, but I was sure. I was like, oh no, he like wrecked his knee real bad.
Yeah. And did you notice when they were just both laying there, Mox grabbed, I think, Paul Turner, the referee, and like by his head and pulled him down to him.
No, I didn't see that.
And like, obviously he says something in his ear, but Paul Turner instantly just jumped up and ran to Omega.
Right.
So I don't know if he said, hey, you better check his leg. He might be stuck, or you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But like Mox wasn't like, he made sure Paul Turner hurt him. He physically grabbed him. It was awesome.
Yeah. I was really worried that he was, that's going to wreck the match because now he can't walk. But apparently it didn't.
Okay. Now my next question is, was the cage supposed to break?
I think it was because how else was Don Callis going to get in there?
Oh, that's true. That's true. I never thought of that.
Yeah. I don't know if the whole thing was supposed to break, and because it kind of seemed like the side came off, but the base of it was still there. Maybe the whole part was supposed. Maybe it didn't break properly.
Okay.
But I think it was supposed to break.
Well, speaking of Don Callis, of all people to rush to the ring, I definitely thought it was going to be BCC. I did not expect Don Callis to.
Yeah, when the cage came open, I thought, oh, maybe someone's going to interfere now because the cage is open.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I wouldn't have never expected Don Callis. I was surprised, very surprised,
and then 10 times surprised when he turns on Omega. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, completely shocked. I thought he was going to turn on Omega one day. I thought that's where they were going.
Right.
But I didn't think it was going to be here. Like I was completely stunned.
That's something you do at the pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Like, totally stunned. Great call to do it then.
Yeah, great call to do that. And I'm really looking forward for Don Callis' explanation next week.
And what did you see the AEW bonus footage?
No, I didn't watch it. I didn't see it.
He's on the phone with somebody, and he just keeps going, no comment, no comment. no,
Right.
can't talk, no comment. And he hurry up and he hangs up.
Right.
But like Marvez is trying to talk to him, but so it's like, okay, who is he talking to?
Now, do you think he
There's
tries? Do you think he tries to keep Takeshita with him, Don Callis? I'm talking about, or is he gonna go join the BCC, or is he gonna? I don't know.
Do you want my opinion?
Yeah.
I think it's Will Ospreay,
All right.
and
Yeah.
then you
That's
get
yeah.
Omega
Yeah.
Ospreay 3,
Okay. I could see that.
and then it's like, that kind of puts the, Takeshita's like the red herring. Osprey's name hasn't even been remotely involved in this. You know what I mean? It's just a
Right.
nice swerve.
Yeah.
That's
I could see that. My thinking was that he's the one who's talked to Takeshita, right? And Kenny was never
right.
really for
That's true.
Takeshita joining them. So I thought Don Callis was going to come to Takeshita and be like, hey, we're still together. Just because I'm not with Kenny anymore
With
doesn't mean
him.
that I don't want to be with
Okay.
you. And then now tries to corrupt him to join the BCC to get rid of Omega. And then that's where Ibushi comes for the save.
Now that makes a ton of sense too.
Well, it could go any way. Like there's
Right. That's our
Don Callis doesn't necessarily have to have anything to do with the BCC. Maybe he just turned
right.
on Omega on his own, right? He's not necessarily joining them. It'll be great.
My favorite thing was Danielson's reaction.
Yeah.
When he was just like stunned and smiling and going, I just love this.
Yeah. That was a great reaction, and also because you don't know, did he know, and he was laughing because it went off, it went and it worked
perfectly,
so well,
yeah,
or he was completely like he was surprised, but he was enjoying it. You don't know, like he didn't let on
because he's so good at everything that he does.
He is so good at everything he does. He's amazing. This is a great feud. I mean, all these guys are really good at building, emotional feuds that you care about.
Yes.
And they're doing an excellent job on this. And I wonder at Double or Nothing, do you think it's like is it a multi-person match? Is it like, we didn't even think about Hangman. Hangman can come back.
Oh yeah, jeez.
We didn't think about Hangman. Hangman could come back too.
Oh my, I didn't. Yeah, that didn't even remotely dawn on me.
Wow. Is this going to be like a BCC versus Elite, like 4-on-4 or 5-on-5 if they get extra people match, or is this going to be a series of singles matches? What do you think?
I think this leads to blood and guts.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's like, I guess, Moxley, Claudio, Danielson, Yuta, maybe Takeshita if he goes, yeah. And then the Elite, Hangman, and Ibushi. It's 5-on-5.
Yeah, that works.
But what do you think they do? I don't think they do that at Double or Nothing.
No.
That would be like on a Dynamite in June or July.
Yeah. Double or Nothing.
Like a trios match, maybe Mox, Claudio, and Danielson against the Elite.
Yeah, they could do that, but yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Or do they involve and then maybe that's when Hangman comes out, right? Maybe they're double teaming Kenny and Hangman comes for the save and Kenny doesn't want the save, or because the whole thing with Hangman is going to go somewhere.
Yeah. Oh. I don't know.
And then you could also, if Hangman goes back to the Elite, what does that mean for Dark Order?
Right.
Because he kind of they backed him when the Elite turned on him.
Right.
Are they going to be upset now that if he goes back to them?
There.
This is going to be good. This is going to last all summer. I think this is going to last. This is going to be a long feud that lasts for a while.
Yeah.
And unlike the Jericho one, I want this to last for a while. Like I want to see where it goes. I want it to last for 6 months, right? Like I think it's going to be really good. So far, it's been great.
Well, because there's like built-in history here. It's not like forced like Jericho does. Like, hey, we're popular.
Right. Yeah. Like Mox and Omega have been with each other since AEW started.
Yeah.
And then all the rest of them have their own histories with each other.
This is going to be so fun. So fun. And we're just getting started. Like the first of the 3 pay-per-views aren't even for another
Right.
3 weeks, 2 weeks.
Yeah. This is good.
Unbelievable.
Big stuff. Exciting stuff.
Big stuff. As you have heard earlier, it is our birthday today. So we're put together a little birthday surprise here at the end of the show. So, friend of the show, Biddy, is back to do a little candid, have fun type interview with us. So, hi, Biddy.
Hi guys,
That's your reward for listening for a year is we bring Biddy back.
it's me.
Well, she's a needle mover. Every
That's
show
right.
she's on, the numbers go up. So.
Everybody likes Biddy.
It's just because
True.
I work in porn. That's it.
Hey, we'll take anything we can.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's an exclusively porn audience listening now.
I know. I gotta remember you guys aren't female porn stars.
Or any type of porn stars for
Yeah.
that matter.
Yeah,
you don't have to clarify.
I
Yeah.
guess I shouldn't ask the question. What's your favorite lube?
No, that's
No.
not. I don't even think I have an answer to that one.
Same here.
Well,
Now I
scratch
hit-
that one.
Well, now the interview everyone just
Yeah,
stopped listening.
Yeah.
They're like,
everyone's-
well,
Yes.
then I'm not listening to this part of the podcast.
That's
My
why I
work
listen.
here is done.
Thank you for the 2.5 seconds.
All right, so I guess I will just start generically. How did you two meet?
Remember when Twitter was a thing
Well,
Yeah,
before that,
that people
Come on.
used? Was it before? It was Penn's blog, right? But was
Yeah.
it like? Was it like the comments of Penn's blog?
Initially, I think we because I would give ideas to Derek. So
This
I
was a
think my-
blog about the
Yes,
Pittsburgh
sorry.
Penguins for people who don't know.
and my ex-girlfriend at the time, her sister dated one of the owners of this blog. So I would kind of spitball ideas to him. And I think a lot of those guys knew my name via Derek, but then we
Right.
did meet via Twitter, but originally the Pens blog.
Yes, and then Twitter was a place where you used to be able to speak to people as opposed to
Yes.
just get insulting comments and cryptocurrency scams hurled
Yeah.
at you.
It was back when Twitter was only in the second ring of hell.
Yes, like it
Oh,
was
yeah.
annoying, but you could use it.
It was a hell site, but it was still fun at times.
right.
Now it's just pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yes,
And hockey Twitter in general then was very
yeah, it was fun. It was fun back then. That was
Yes.
good times. But
Back
yes,
in the old days.
it was related to hockey, and then we realized that we're both giant wrestling nerds. Yes.
And that also came from the Pens blog too, with all the funny photoshops and the
Yeah, there was a very 1990s wrestling feel to that website.
Yes.
And actually, that's a good segue to why is it, do you think, that so many hockey fans intersect with wrestling fans? Because I found that all through hockey Twitter and stuff on the internet.
I think it's an age thing mostly. Like anyone who grew up in the
Yeah.
90s, I think was into wrestling.
That's true.
Um,
Attitude Era forever.
Yeah, and it's got it has like the same like fake tough guyness to hockey that you have in wrestling.
Also true, yes.
But you're right, there is a crossover. Like they've used like wrestling themes during breaks in hockey games, and there is a definite crossover. I think it's the sort of like it's a little bit cheesy, but it's not real violence, but it's kind of violence. Like I don't know, that's how it feels to me.
Well, that's a lot of the hockey journalists that I do follow and stuff. So many of them are wrestling nerds.
Yeah.
That's like the few hockey podcasts I listen to have wrestling crossover. I was like, oh, hey, it's scratching both itches.
Yeah, if you weren't, not you guys, just anyone listening who wasn't, old enough or conscious enough or born yet in the late 90s, it's hard to understand how big like Stone Cold Steve Austin was or The Rock was.
Yes.
In like general culture. Like right now, people know who John Cena is, but they're not. He's not everywhere, and he's not quote unquote cool. But like the stuff with Austin and The Rock, and like they were everywhere. Like their shirts were everywhere. It was it was a thing.
And they were still just WWF. Like
yes,
they weren't in movies. Like
people know John Cena now because he's in movies. Yeah, but people knew Stone Cold Steve Austin from being Stone Cold Steve Austin.
How dare you besmirch the good name of Hulk Hogan in the movie The Nanny?
Also, Suburban Commando. I saw it.
And Santa Muscles. I mean, they're all good.
That's
Like,
true. We can't
they're
forget
all
about his
incredible.
great career. Yes, you're right. Can't
I
forget
mean,
about
Thunder
that.
in Paradise was probably the greatest show ever on television. Amazing
Good
show.
times. But if we're gonna besmirch the name of Hulk Hogan, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
totally.
he deserves it.
Totally.
But yeah, I think it's just an age. It's an age thing. I think a lot of
And-
hockey Twitter grew up in like the 90s.
And
yeah.
Being from the Pittsburgh area, like, I mean, our team has always roughly been good. So you kind of grow up a Pens fan, and then if you did get into pro wrestling, like WWF or whatever, it's, I don't know, they kind of go together in our area. Like, I don't know, pro wrestling is like ingrained in Pittsburgh culture too.
That's
Yeah.
actually interesting because it does seem to be like if you look at like the big hockey markets, like in the US, because Canada's always a big hockey market.
Right.
But if you look at the big hockey markets in the US, there also tend to be the big wrestling markets.
True.
Chicago, New York,
Yeah,
Pittsburgh,
Philly.
Philadelphia, like those regions also seem to be the really big wrestling markets, which is interesting.
It's like that's where all the people live, minus
That's-
Pittsburgh.
That's true.
True.
I think that's a population thing.
Not necessarily, because like I mean, I guess Texas is kind of a big but Texas is a big wrestling town, but it's not really a hockey town. Yeah, okay. That defeats my point. Never mind.
Well, no, that's not true. Dallas has a decent team.
Yeah, but like I guess okay. Anyway, moving on.
Yes.
Also, I apologize for this. I have to have my nose pinched because one of my cats just took the smelliest dookie right behind me.
Oh,
Nice. It is foul. What are you feeding that cat, Biddy?
This is what happens when we bring Biddy on. We get
I
the
know.
really good
Sick.
content. This is
Oh,
why Biddy's popular.
That's
my
true.
God.
We're
We didn't
apparently
have enough
boring
cat
as
poop
hell.
content on this podcast.
Thank God I'm taking her to the vet next week. That is not normal. Oh, the windows are open. What the hell?
Jeez.
Oh, I hate my life. Anyway, so what's your earliest memory of wrestling appearing in your life?
I have a few, but Blasco, you can go first if you want.
Oh, mine's the easiest one ever. My dad took me to I believe it was like not a sports bar. Like, this is the early 80s.
Oh,
Like
it could have been a sports bar.
Oh no, it was a real bar.
Yeah. Oh, it was a bar. Yeah, word.
Like
Yeah.
a bar. Yeah.
Yeah, like a place where I should not have been at
That's
5 years old.
Listen,
Right.
young ones, they let you do that in the 80s because I too
Oh,
used
totally.
to go to a bar with my dad when I was like
Oh.
4.
The 80s had no rules.
Yeah.
True.
Here, kid, here's $1 to go play all of the Pac-Man.
Yes. And it was WrestleMania 2.
Ooh.
That was my I didn't even like.
You watched
I'm-
WrestleMania 2 and then continued to watch wrestling. That's good.
That is very, and then WrestleMania 3 changed my life.
Yes.
So they paid for the pay-per-view at the bar.
Yeah, and the bar had one of those. I'm gonna really date myself here. The old, when I say satellites, like not the ones you see today, like DirecTV, like the ones that you could like park a car on.
Those like really huge satellites. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how they got it. So I don't know if they were stealing it or, but they had one of those. That's my
Wow.
earliest. That's my earliest.
I have a few. My grandmother was super into wrestling, like really, really into wrestling.
Incredible.
One of her first dates with my grandfather was like a wrestling show.
That's incredible too.
So
That's
she was
hot.
so she was really into it. She like really liked it. I remember there was this. Do you remember that Hulk Hogan rock and wrestling cartoon
Yeah.
Yes.
in the 80s? She like really liked wrestling, and she was like, "Oh, watch this show," because she liked it. She's like, "Oh, I don't watch this show. It's good." And for some reason, it made me cry. Like,
Awesome.
like the Hulk Hogan on TV made me cry. I don't know why, but I mean now I know why. But like as a 5-year-old, I'm not quite sure why. But yeah, that made me cry, and I refused. I was just like, I'm not watching this show.
That's amazing.
Then my next memory was remember the Saturday night's main event when they had the Hogan Andre
Yes.
match, and then they had the fake Hebners.
Yes.
I remember that. My mom came home from work early, and she said that her boss wanted to go out to watch that wrestling show, so he let everyone leave. So that I didn't watch the show, but that's my first. Oh, wrestling's a big thing. And then the next time they had a Saturday night's main event or whatever it was, I asked her to tape it for me, and it was Macho Man Randy Savage when he just won the title against One Man Gang in the main event. and I must have watched that 500 times. And then I
so
just started
awesome.
watching it. So yeah, that's my first memory.
So awesome.
There was the spot where he had like, I think he was with Slick. He had like Slick's cane, and he was hitting the ring, and Macho Man was rolling, and he was hitting it and rolled away, and he hit it and rolled away. I watched it forever. I watched it so many times. Andre the Giant did a thing with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I remember it so well. But yeah, that's it.
Incredible.
Okay, so then if I say, what's your favorite match ever? What's the first thing that pops in your head?
Ricky Steamboat, Macho Man, WrestleMania 3.
That's good. Austin and Bret Hart, WrestleMania 13. That's my favorite.
Yeah,
I really like that one. There's a lot, but that's my favorite.
Still to this day, there is not. I probably don't go 10 days without watching Macho Man versus Ricky Steamboat, and that's not a joke.
Nice.
Like I can watch that 24/7.
I think I only saw it for the first time like 10 years ago. I hadn't watched it. Like I didn't see WrestleMania 3. Like so I did, and I just never watched it. And then like when WWE Network came out, I was like, I should watch that, and then I did.
It's funny when you watch WrestleMania 3 because the match right before that is the Hillbilly Jim and two little people versus King Kong Bundy and his two little people, and they all turn on King Kong Bundy, and then it's a train wreck the whole time, and then the Macho Man the Macho Man match follows that.
Nice.
So it's like when you watch the show in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't make any sense. But
that's another thing that people who weren't alive in the 80s wouldn't know. Like WrestleManias weren't wall to wall good.
Right.
In the 80s, there was like 2 matches maybe. And the rest of it was just like filler. And yeah, it wasn't until much later that they had like, oh, this is going to be, 4 hours of good matches.
Yeah, like you're right. Like it would be like they're like the stars would be on the show, but like your semi-main and main event would be like your 2 marquee matches, and everything else would just be junk.
Yeah. Like those 2 pay-per-views we talked about, WrestleMania 3 with the Macho Man Ricky Steamboat match. The only other match people know from that is Hogan Andre, which wasn't a good match. It was just a big match.
Right.
And then like the Bret Hart Austin one, like the rest of that pay-per-view was completely forgettable.
That's very true too.
It wasn't until much later that they decided we could just do all good matches.
Hey, let's make it the Super Bowl of wrestling.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And now look at it.
Well, now it's just several days of
mediocre matches.
Yeah. I mean, there's some good matches, but like you don't remember them because they have 20 minutes of video packages. And then at the end, Cody loses.
Yes.
Womp womp.
Incredible.
Well, let's jump to the future since all of the children now are confused and scared and crying. If
yes, we've talked about the 80s far too much.
I know.
What's a VHS?
Yeah. What is asking your mom to tape something?
What?
Right.
Did you put Scotch tape over your TV? What?
Right.
So when did you guys hear about AEW? Were you there from the very beginning, or how did you guys find your way to it?
Yeah, I was there from the beginning.
Yeah.
I watched the first non WWE. Well, I watched the WCW pay-per-view when Hulk Hogan went to WCW. So that's the first non WWE thing I watched. But the first non WWE thing I watched in a very long time was the New Japan when Jericho went there.
Oh, okay.
Against Kenny Omega, and that made me pay more attention to like guys like Kenny Omega who I didn't know existed. So then when I found out they're starting their own company, I was quote unquote all in. Oh, I watched All In. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
what a good name for the first pay-per-view. Eh?
It was a good name
really
for a pay-per-view. And I think when I was deleting my Twitter and I was looking through my archives, I found where Blasco was just like, hey, this is AEW is going to air on TSN. That was like our first AEW reference.
Oh, nice.
So we were in from the beginning.
Wow.
I tuned out a bit in pandemic days because of society crumbling, but then I came back. So.
That was a strange time.
Yeah, it really was.
Well, I mean that's an understatement, but
AEW had some good shows during the pandemic, though. It was for like the first few weeks of the pandemic. It like kept me going.
That could have been.
That's not even a joke. Like it legitimately kept me going.
Yeah, that could have killed them before they even got any type of real start, and yet they made it through and made it as entertaining as they absolutely could have, considering the circumstances.
Yeah, I remember when that was happening. They had the lead up to Revolution 2020, which was like the end of January, early February, I think, was really good, and I really liked that paper. It was I think it might have been the first pay-per-view I bought for AEW, and it was really good. And then the pandemic stuff happened. I was like, oh man, they were on such a big role. This sucks. I mean, obviously, in the scheme of things, it's unimportant, but I remember thinking, oh, it sucks for them because they were on such a big role, and like the crowd is such a big part of like an AEW show that it's going to really suck. But it wasn't, and they did a great job. And I'm not kidding when I say like for a while they did keep me going, because like everything was just doom and gloom, and everyone watched the news for 20 hours a day. And then there was like a 2-hour period on Wednesday where I was like, oh yeah, wrestling, I'll just watch that. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it kind of helped me remember, oh, Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Now I know what day it is.
Right.
Thank you, wrestling.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say that through the pandemic for me, I didn't trail off at all, but I was happy that it existed. Like, even though those shows, like in hindsight, like if they would have a network type streaming service or something, I don't know if I'd ever go back and watch those shows. But the fact that there was brand new content that was happening during the time when the world was shut down was incredible.
Yeah, you're right. I would probably never go back and watch it because it's too weird.
Right.
But it was really great that they had it.
Something it reminded me actually were kind of the old studio wrestling shows from that I've seen reruns of, but it kind of reminded me of that. And I'm like, this is strangely comforting in a very strange way.
It really was.
Yeah.
It was.
I was like, this is kind of like I remember there was some show on like Saturdays in the 80s that was like studio. Maybe that was just around here or whatever. I don't remember, but I remember seeing that as a little kid. And it kind of reminded me of that almost.
I believe that show was WCW Worldwide, if I'm not mistaken.
That might have been it.
They shot it at like Universal Studios or something, didn't they?
Yeah. Oh, good. I'm glad I didn't just dream that up or something.
There you go.
Speaking of the pandemic, a little off topic, what was the weirdest thing you guys found yourself like doing?
Oh, like not wrestling, just in general?
Yeah, just in general.
Oh man, I don't
during
know.
the pandemic?
Yeah, during
like the lockdown part of it.
Yeah, especially at the very early part of it.
Oh, I was the master of coloring mandalas.
I did not. That is not where I thought that was going.
I bought myself an adult coloring book and a modestly priced set of art markers.
Nice.
And I colored my ass off.
That is actually really wholesome.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I went in between losing my mind, and then I got really into baking. I know everyone did, but I got really into baking. So that was my thing.
I baked,
I baked a lot of stuff. I know you expecting us to say something like interesting, but not like coloring and baking things. But
no, that's actually extremely wholesome.
Yeah, that is what I did.
Yes,
that's better than some people like perhaps myself who may have just decided to sit around and listen to music and drink beer.
And there was a lot of that too. Don't worry.
Yeah. Well, so my thing was I suddenly got really into Gordon Ramsay shows, specifically Kitchen Nightmares.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then Hell's Kitchen. Like Hell's Kitchen, I went balls to the wall, watched season 1 through 18 straight through.
There's gonna be a whole. I was thinking this totally off topic now, but I was thinking this that 10, 20 years from now, there's gonna be a whole era, our generation and people who were around in this time, who either when something like Gordon Ramsay comes on, that's comforting to you and you'll watch it, or you're like, I can never speak of that show ever again, and one day they'll have a reunion show. You're like, nope, I can't. That was a dark time. I never want to hear about it. I never want to see it.
True.
And it could go either way.
I put it on still into the background just for background noise.
Oh, there you go. So you're well adjusted.
Yeah, I guess sort of. I live alone, so I don't know, but
there you go. Just to drown out the cat poop.
Yeah. Because the cat poop makes noises. I really gotta get on the vet.
I don't have a cat. I don't know how they work.
Oh boy. Okay, what else can I ask you, nerds?
Did I mention I'm going to Forbidden Door?
What?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's right.
I was
I
not
know.
aware.
I kind of
Pretty
have
good.
been looking at tickets just for fun.
They're reasonably priced. You
yeah,
can do it.
there's still some.
There's still some. I mean, resale, but they're not marked up crazy.
Yeah. Well, there you go, folks. If you feel like if you got your passport and want to go to Toronto,
There you go.
go get yourself a ticket so you too can keep telling everybody that'll listen.
There you
I'm
go.
going to
There you go.
Forbidden Door.
I like that you pronounced Toronto correctly.
What'd I say?
You said Toronto, which is how you're supposed to say it.
How do people say it?
Toronto.
Yeah.
Toronto?
It's
Oh.
yeah.
Toronto
Yeah.
is how you'd say it if you were from here or Canadian. Toronto is how you would say it if you're like a newscaster from Buffalo.
Oh. Well, the more you know.
There you go.
I don't know. That's just how I say it.
Doesn't Christian say it wrong?
Christian says it Toronto, which I think he does to be a heel. That's my thinking. He does it on purpose. Like,
That's incredible.
I think that's what it is. I have no basis for believing that, but that's just my belief. Is that he says it, he overpronounces it just because he knows that it's going to make like a small portion of the audience mad. So he does it.
That's incredible.
Yeah, his like refinement of being a heel is just like never trust someone that wears turtlenecks nonstop. Like
He's so good.
that
He
just
is so
screams like dickhead. Like,
Yeah, so good.
although I was watching the Leafs game last night and the one guy, Dominic Moore, had a turtleneck on. I'm like, he looks like Christian Cage, aka Evil.
Yes.
Anyway,
Wait. Dominic Moore still in the league?
no, he's a TV person now.
Is he on like TNT or something? I don't get US broadcasts.
I don't know because I sail the sea. Actually, no, I think I was watching CBC. So
Yeah. Well, maybe that's why you pronounce it like the Canadian way, because you watch enough Canadian TV.
it's very. I mean, I know all the words to Canada.
There you go.
So because of all
Very
the hockey I
interesting.
watch,
There you go.
that's well.
No, I'm seeing if I do. I do not. I'm lost already. Okay.
I can do the Pledge of Allegiance for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, that's because you guys have to deal with all of our crap flipping
Yeah, it's
across.
true.
Yeah,
True.
that doesn't surprise me. I mean, how many Americans do you know that know Canada?
That's true.
Uh,
Yeah, you're one of the few Americans who watches Canadian TV versus the other way around.
Yeah, that's thanks to being born on the wrong side of Lake Erie.
There you go.
I still got your kit channels.
the only Canadian show I think I ever watched was I used to watch Kenny versus Spenny. I don't know
Oh
if you
yeah,
know
I
that.
remember that show. My cousin was on that show
That's incredible.
in like a bit part, like a background character, but she was on it.
That's awesome. That
Yeah.
show is hilarious. If you've never watched, the show is 22 minutes of idiocy.
Yeah,
every week.
they basically dare each other to do ridiculous things.
Yeah, like there was one episode where they just, no matter what, they had to sing. They couldn't stop singing. And I just laughed hysterically for 22 minutes. It was the dumbest. It just made no sense. Like,
It's
it
really
shouldn't even
dumb, but
been
it's funny.
Yeah. Incredible show. Anyways,
well, how much longer do you guys want to go for this?
Well, that note.
on that note,
I'm sick of you, and I don't want to talk to you anymore.
I
No,
understand.
I'm kidding.
It's understandable.
well, just real quick, can we ask you a question since you're always
I
on the show?
suppose. Sure. What? Tell
Okay.
me.
Would you like to be an official member of the Elite City team?
Aw, sure, guys.
Yeah, we like you.
I'm a team. I bought a
Yeah.
team.
Welcome.
Yay.
We like having
Okay,
you.
you have. Rick says you have 3 days to get CM Punk on the show. That's his rules, not mine.
Yeah, we're gonna make you finagle guests for us.
Listen, I'm trying really hard not to curse or make dirty jokes on this thing. Because
But no, we
my
like
mind
you
went
and we want you around.
different places, and none of them were good.
We like you and you're good on the show, and I think we have,
Yeah.
we have like a decent rapport, I think. So
Yeah. I guess.
And-
No, I'm kidding.
Well, when we first, we were like, it would be absolutely hilarious if she said no.
yeah, we're like, can we just edit it out? Like,
Yeah. We'll just
didn't-
beep that out and then just
Yeah,
say she's
sure.
busy every week.
If she's just like, no, I don't like either of you. I don't know why you keep talking to me.
Yeah. And we figured we all sit around and talk about wrestling anyway. So
Pretty
we might as well
much.
have you join us
There you go.
every week that you can. Like, don't feel obligated to be here.
Oh,
every
feel
single
obligated. You must feel
You must.
obligated.
Yeah.
Guys,
We'll
I'm in
send-
the Bahamas on a boat. I mean, I still made it.
We just want we'll fire you the minute you're late for a podcast.
and,
Okay, we won't.
and I don't know, like, why do you get to go to the Bahamas? Like, that was.
I'm kidding.
just-
I don't get to go anywhere this summer.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you totally.
That's not
raised
true.
the bar.
I'm going to LA.
Well, that's somewhere.
That's
Yeah, I get-
somewhere.
And
Yeah.
I'll try not to pick on you as much because I know
Yeah,
I like to do
right.
that.
That's
I know
not
I like to
gonna
do that. It's true. Like, that's a false promise.
I know
You know
Janine's
anything.
really. Janine's like, you guys pick on her so much. Well, the only time was when you guys were making fun of my choice in my male partner.
Speaking of Jay, we have to get Jay to come on too.
I know.
We need
I
her
think
on
she
here.
I don't think she feels she watches enough like AEW to be
That's
able to
okay.
add much.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
that's fine.
We
I
haven't
like-
talked about wrestling for like 20 minutes.
I know.
It's
We're
very
talking about
true.
Canadian TV and
Right.
all kinds of stuff.
Toronto.
Yeah, there you go.
Saying it correctly.
That's right. Have you seen any of the All Access show?
I've seen the first couple episodes.
Do you have any thoughts?
I thought it was, or maybe I guess I've seen 3 of them. Because they had Britt like leadership all over Thunder, and then they had Thunder on the next one being
Yeah.
like, "Listen, I'm actually pretty screwed up, but like
Yeah.
my back and stuff." So, but I saw on Reddit, I follow a lot of like AEW on Reddit stuff and see what those Jags are saying, and now they're all mad at Britt for like ishing on Thunder because some people thought she got booed last night, I guess, and people were like, "Why would they boo her? It's because of Britt."
I think the Brit. I was saying to Blasco earlier. I think the Brit stuff. She's working at least halfway.
Oh,
At least
for sure.
at least partially. Like maybe they don't get along that well, but I think a lot of this where she's just like, "You're not really hurt." I think that's a work.
That's
she's just
a work.
She's
But
just trying to drum up excitement for when they eventually have a match.
I feel she did make a good point though that like when she like had her knee and nose broken, she still showed up in that damn wheelchair
Right.
every week cutting promos and stuff, whereas Thunder is still like traveling all over but not anywhere near doing stuff on the show. Although I guess she's been doing Spanish commentary, is that correct?
Yeah, she's been on. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's a Spanish commentator for. I don't know for
It's-
Dynamite or what, but
It's weird that then they haven't like used her at all. Like just because your back is messed up doesn't mean your face doesn't work, you know?
right. I mean, it's not like she's going to cut promos though.
No,
she's
that's
not
the thing.
like.
She's
yeah.
what she should be doing is practicing that stuff right now.
That's
Yeah,
totally
because
what
like
she should
when
be
Britt was hurt, she could still cut promos, but Thunder Rose is never known for her. Maybe in Spanish, but not in English.
Yeah.
That's an interesting point. I never thought of that. Like, she might not be good because English is her second language. I never thought of it. Good point.
Yeah, because I mean,
I mean,
I just assume if she's doing commentary for Dynamite, she must be. She's not Tony Khan, where she like completely freezes anytime a camera gets on her.
Right.
So
Speaking of that Chihuahua with the helicopters, he looks
Tony
like that
Khan.
Chihuahua.
like he could hire people to like teach him how to be on camera. Like, what is he doing? Like
Yeah,
he's a rich man. I'm sure there's like public speaking classes he could take. Like,
I just like, yeah.
what I want them to do is him to realize he's bad on camera and hire like an actor to play Tony Khan on the show, but don't mention it.
Ever
Just be like,
explain
now,
it.
but now Tony Khan, and it's just a completely different guy, and he's like just acts as like he's Tony Khan, and no one ever mentions that like Tony Khan is now like a completely different person. That would be funny.
Yeah,
It's just Orange Cassidy.
We're wearing like a suit, being Tony Khan. Yeah,
like I've listened to some podcasts he's been on, and he can speak very well. Like,
right. Yeah.
it's just as soon as you put a camera in his face, it's like,
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. He's been on like the Unrestricted podcast, and he does a good job.
yeah. I Mark Maron had a bunch of them on his podcast.
Oh yeah, you
Actually
told me
not-
about this.
Yeah, I
Still haven't
told you to
watched.
hear it. It was wonderful. But he was on it and he was excellent on it. I'm like, like not only did he, speak well and stuff, but he also just comes across as like, oh, like, you feel like you could sit down and have a beer and talk to the guy.
Right.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, as soon as you stick a camera in his
They
face,
put a camera
it's
on
like,
him and he loses
"Oh."
it. Like, I don't know why. It's very strange.
I just think that like I hate to say it, but it's like I think he's literally that excited.
Yeah.
Maybe. He does get very excited. Yeah, you're right.
I,
Yeah, maybe there's a part of him that every the back of his body is like, I'm on TV on a wrestling show. And he's just
right.
like,
And it's
Not
like
just
his
that, it's
childhood
my
dream.
wrestling show.
right.
He's like an excitable puppy.
He is. And he's such a giant wrestling nerd. Like he really is. So
Yeah.
maybe that's it. Maybe he's just every time he's on TV, he's like, I get to be on TV. Like he's just like, he doesn't realize that no, it's your show. That's why you get to be on TV.
Yeah, like, you could literally be on it every second. If you
Right.
That's, I guess there's another big announcement next week.
Yes. I'm assuming
Yes.
that's the collision and the Saturday show
Oh,
announcement.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Either that or they did totally sell out Wembley and they're going to announce that.
Oh yeah,
But
that's possible
but
too.
I think it's collision.
I think it's collision.
I think I read where they're ready to. Yeah, they're like, isn't like Warner or whatever.
Yeah, Warner's
Discovery?
doing their upfront like earlier in the day Wednesday, so I feel like Warner's going to
Yeah.
mention it, and then they're going to formally announce it on Dynamite.
Yeah. So.
And then we're going to hear, hopefully, we're going to hear about the streaming service, which
Yes. That would be wonderful.
Well, if they go to HBO Max, I have an account, so you guys will all have an account too. So then,
unless someone in a position of authority is listening, then we'll all have our separate accounts.
No, you can. I can share. I get 6 accounts.
Oh, all right.
Wow.
So legally, yes, that's
Suck it, feds.
yeah. Yeah, my mom has one, and I had 4 more. So
Well, there you go.
God damn.
There you go.
Gosh,
yeah,
it's the podcast birthday, and yet I'm getting all the presents.
That would be really cool if they ended up on a streaming service, because they should be.
I mean, that would just make it so much more exciting for me, for instance. Not
even if it was like
cable.
Dynamite's not on for like 24 hours or something, right? Like
Yeah.
if they delayed it, but yeah,
Right.
that'd still be cool.
That's how I have to do it now.
Yeah.
Sailing the illegal or sailing the seas.
Yes. Well, I live in England, so I don't have
Yeah.
that don't have that issue.
Correct.
Well, let's thank goodness that CBC's been having hockey on, because your little friend ends up in Toronto every night to watch some hockey.
There you go. We do a lot of traveling for these.
I know.
A lot of traveling.
Wow. It's
And only to watch TV shows. It's odd.
I was just gonna say it's
Yeah.
commitment
To flying to England every Wednesday to watch
was-
Dynamite.
for 2 hours.
Yes.
I've always wanted to go to Europe.
Yes. Yes.
What like? Do you get HBO Max or Max, whatever it's called?
No,
now?
it's like the programming is on a different streaming service called Crave. So it has HBO content on it,
okay.
but it's not the HBO.
Wonder,
it's
I
not
wonder
Max
if
or
it would
whatever.
I
I wonder
th-
if they would put it on there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I would hope so.
All he'd have to do is visit the U.S. and then he could watch it.
Correct.
That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Just, get in the car, drive across the lake.
that's right. That's right.
Just surf on over.
Yes.
Or there
Well,
you
it's
go.
not far. But yeah,
Yeah.
good times, exciting
Yeah.
times happening, big things happening.
Yeah.
We're all very excited.
Oh, you guys got a girl for your birthdays.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
don't put it like that.
Yeah. Wow.
That makes us sound lame and or criminal.
Yes. Yeah.
Ugh.
Man, now I feel bad about myself.
I always feel bad about myself, so that's no different.
My work
Wow.
here's done.
This is why we brought Biddy on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thanks for the proper invite. I'm excited.
Yeah. See you
it's
next week.
fun.
All
Yes.
right. Bye, guys. Have fun.
Bye.
Bye. Well, we had a fan question this week. So
All right.
before we go, from the friend of the show, Mr. Pondo, he wanted to know, what do you guys think is the best finisher in AEW?
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a great one.
I mean, effectiveness, it would be the one-winged angel because it beats everybody.
Because it does, yeah.
But I think it takes a while to set up. I like finishes that don't take a while to set up.
Oh, okay.
Like he has to put him on his shoulders instead of I like finishers like a stunner or a super kick or something where like you don't have to. I don't know. That's a tough one. What do you think?
I've always liked it. Just because it was the I lost my train of thought, so I'll just go with it. Mark Briscoe's Froggy Bow. Oh, because it's a variation of two moves. Like
Right.
he combined two different things: the frog splash and the elbow smash. So I always liked it. Thought it's great.
In terms of I don't know. That's tough because there's some moves that like the One Wing Angel that's successful. Then there's moves like Danielson's like running knee, which is a good finisher, but he doesn't use it all the time. So thinking of like finisher, it's have to be something that someone uses a lot and like is established as like a good finisher. Like Mox's finisher, I don't really like because it seems to be different all the time. Like sometimes it's a DDT, sometimes it's more of like a suplex. So it can't be that, but it's got to be someone who is like an established, long running finisher. To me,
my second choice would be Buckshot Lariat.
That's a good one. I really like that one.
Just because he uses it pretty much all the time.
Yeah, and it's positioned as like pretty devastating.
Yeah, and there's no, like you said, there's no setup time.
Yeah,
he just has to get to the outside and get back in. So that's my second choice.
I know I take shots at him all the time, but in terms of finishers, the Lion Tamer, not the Walls of Jericho, the Lion Tamer with the knee on the back.
Yeah,
I've always thought that was really good. That's a really good. That looks like it hurts.
Oh, it does look like it hurts. It hurts.
Good question. I like that one.
Yeah,
thanks a lot.
It was very fun. Yeah.
Yes.
We're open to questions anytime, ladies and gentlemen.
We have a website, so it's elitecitypod.com. So if you want to know how to reach us, we now have a website. I know it took us a year, but we got a website. So elitecitypod.com if you want to know how to reach us on I think Twitter exists still, or it might not by the time you hear this podcast. So you never know.
It might have exploded by now.
Yeah, on there or on Mastodon or on Instagram or however else you want to reach us. You can find all of our contact information there.
Yeah, and like we said at the beginning, thank you everybody. It's fun. It's humbling. It's just it's something that I never thought would, as we said, like, not that millions of people listen to us, but like we're slowly growing this community, and it's so fun and awesome.
Yeah, and it's I never thought anyone would really listen to it. So that's great that you guys are. Thanks so much. It's been really fun. We enjoy it.
Totally,
we've had a great time.
We look forward to it every week, and we talk about it when we're not talking on it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you don't want to see our like messages to each other. It's very nerdy.
It's very nerdy. Like here's this rumor. Here, did you check this? Like
right.
It's nerdy.
Yes, but it's fun. We enjoy it.
It's very fun.
And AEW has been, AEW, we said before, AEW rewards the nerdiness a little bit with like their like callbacks to things and their like stuff happening in the background. Like if you're paying attention, they reward you for like, oh, you did watch that match from Japan from 5 years ago. Well, if you did, here's another thing for you, right? Yeah. Like it's fun.
Yeah, but they also, you don't need to know all that either.
Right.
Someone once compared indie wrestling and The Simpsons, and I thought that was like the greatest like comparison, because like you could turn on, like, I haven't watched The Simpsons in 25 years, but I could turn an episode on this Sunday and not have to worry about anything. I'm going to know the people in the background. I'm going to know the little random story that they're going to tell, and that's fine. But if you watched every week, you would know that whenever Homer walked past the tree and there was that graffiti on it, that was from 10 seasons ago.
Right. They made a joke that called back to a joke from 10 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, that's such a good comparison. Like indie wrestling is basically like The Simpsons.
Yeah, that's true. Because you don't need to have seen that match in Japan from 5 years ago. But if you did, it adds a little bit extra to it. Yeah.
So but anyways, thank you everybody. It's been fun. We don't plan on stopping anytime soon. So I don't know. I don't have anything else. You have anything
Yeah,
else?
no, like, share, subscribe,
Yeah.
rate, visit our
Yeah.
website,
Visit the
elitecitypod.com if you want to know how to. It has all of our social media. It has all the places to listen to the podcast. So if you're listening to the podcast already, I'm assuming you know how to listen to the podcast. But thank you. Do all that good
Yeah.
stuff, and we'll be back.
Yeah. And just a minor housekeeping note. I think, Rick, you've decided the episodes will no longer be numbered starting next week.
Yeah, we're not going to put numbers in front of them because we did it for the first year, but
Yeah.
I feel like we don't really need to going forward. We'll just give it a title.
Yeah, we'll give it a title, and if you're subscribed, obviously it's not going to change. You'll still get it, but
Right.
just we did the first 52, and then from now on, it's just they'll probably be funny little names.
Yeah, we'll try. We'll try to be
Yeah.
funny.
We'll try. But again, thank you, and we're getting a little long-winded here, so we tried to do something special for you. It's the first of a few things we have planned here in the next. As we say, AEW has a big summer. We kind of have some things this summer too that are going to be fun. So just keep an eye out. On that note, I think call it a night, Rick. We good?
Yeah, that was great.
Okay. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you again, everybody. And on that note, we'll see you next week. So later.